quick and easy ideas on how to upcycle a picture frame. Hello everyone, I'm Caroline and today I'm going to show you what you can do with a picture frame. Now you may have one just like me, you've done something with it, you got bored with it, you've decided to change it. It could be that you bought a new picture frame. If you're looking for a picture frame and you find them very expensive in shops, pop to the thrift store or the charity shop. It's amazing what you can find and the prices are brilliant. So I got this one and I've already done something with it. You can see I put the glass at the back instead of at the front just to keep it because I knew I would be upcycling it at some point. Oops, very clattery. So then you just lift those little metal bits and out it all comes. This is the bit that I'm going to do the work on. I could paint this, but it wouldn't be quick and easy then. As I always say, if you want really quick and easy, don't do anything with paint. So this is the backing board. This is what we'll be working with. And I've got this mat. And I got this from a thrift store. I can't remember, £4 for £1, something like that. It wouldn't have been very much. You know me, I don't ever spend very much. And we're going to glue this to this backing sheet. Or backing board. It's nice and firm. Using a glue gun. First of all, you do need to decide which way you want the lines running, I should say. So you can have them running short ways and it's going to look like that. I just think it gives it more presence. I don't know why, I just do. Try to get it as square as possible. Line it up with the top corner, like that. Press it into place. Now you don't have to cover the whole thing with glue. As long as you do 3 or 4 runs, you'll be fine. As long as you're not hanging anything too heavy on the front. If you are, then it could cause a problem. And then put your last line very close to the edge of the board. Oops. Like that. Being hot glue, it doesn't take long to dry, so now we can get on with the cutting. These are very easy to cut lengthways because you're just actually cutting through the cotton, just holding them all together. And because the last stick is glued into place, it shouldn't, in theory, escape and fall off. And the rest of it will fall apart. What I'm going to do is put a run of hot glue, sorry about the clattering, I'm always clattering, up there. I'll just fold this, roll it over sort of thing, like that, just to hold everything in place. I know it doesn't look very neat, but I'm not worried about that because instead of having lots of little sticks, I do now have this amount of bamboo that I can do something else with. I don't know if it is bamboo. Yes, probably is. And I got some sticks. No idea what I'm going to do with those. Any ideas, anyone? Let me know in the comments, what would you do with a gazillion sticks like this if my placemat comes completely unravelled? Now for the difficult bit, the top edge. Well, it's not that difficult, but it is more fiddly. Oh, that scissors is struggling, try a sharper one. Lots more little sticks. So now I need to pop this back in the frame. Now that's looking lovely already, but we need to do something with it. I've got a bag of shells here, and I wondered which ones we could use. I've got this big one. I'd like to use this, but it's very heavy, and I think it may be a bit too domineering. What do you think? I could glue it there. Or I could put a little montage of shells down in this corner. I've got some really pretty ones. But what I'll do is I'll leave that for the moment before I make a decision. Put those to one side, a bit more glue, and bring in some Scrabble tiles. Now these are from a child's Scrabble game. And I'm going to, up in this corner, glue on the word beach. Oops, somebody's phone is going off somewhere. Like that. I think now I put the word on, it gives me a different perspective on this. So if I take these off, think maybe if we put our big one there. Oh yes, look at that. Oh wow, I like that. It's going to be the big one. We'll see where this sticks down the lowest and put a nice big blob of hot glue, because we don't want this falling off and landing on somebody's head, do we? Like that. And now just glue on the words beach. It's very useful because you've got a bit of a guide with the lines of the sewing on the placemat. I should really have measured the width, shouldn't I? So it could be a little bit off centre. But I'm sure you're all far too kind to tell me if it is. Yep, it's a little teeny bit off centre. And look at that. That was really quick, really easy and such fun. I thoroughly enjoyed doing that. I think that's an ideal summer decoration for your picture frame. If you want to add a little bit more of something, you could always put another shell up there, I suppose. I like the simplicity myself, and it keeps it extra quick and easy. So there you go. But what about next year? Or in the winter, when you just fancy a change from something saying beach, saying picture frame? Another idea. This time I'm going to do something perhaps for a child's bedroom. This is the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. I've got this piece of paper from one of my paper books. And of course it isn't big enough, so that's not a problem because I've got this sparkly paper or card. And I think that is going to do the perfect job. Take my glue stick. These Scotch glue sticks are much better than some. Not all. Some people report very good results from ones from the pound shop or the dollar store in America. I do have links to most things that I use in my videos in the link below. It's over to my Amazon shop, so if you need something, check it out there. And as you can see, I'm definitely reusing the same thing because there's the remains of the beach. Now I just cut around the backing board like that. Always easier to do it that way than try to measure the backing board, cut the paper in the right place. Much more simple. Turn it back over and look at that. Oh, it's looking pretty already. Now I'm going to put this back into the frame. Looking good. Now I'm going to glue this centrally in here. And as you can see, by picking the right shade of paper for the background or the right picture, then you get a lovely match that looks as if it was made to be. I am going to need a lot more glue stick because this doesn't want to stick to the glitter. At this point, something like Aileen's tacky glue may be better. I'm not sure. If you're having trouble with your glue would stick and it won't stick, then try that out. Now I'm just going to finish off the inside with a little bit of ribbon. Got these little butterfly things here. Not sure what they're supposed to be for. They come on this braid, but I've never used them on the braid. I always cut them off. And I'm going to pop a little butterfly on the corner, facing inwards. Just a little tip when you're putting something like that on that's got a direction. If you put it facing into the picture, then when somebody sees that, rather than their eye wander off, it'll come to there and go, ooh, and it'll just naturally go in the direction that the butterfly is looking. And if you want to, you could stick a bow on it. You know me, any excuse for a bow. Double loop bow. I don't want anything too grand and flamboyant on this, just something simple. You may decide to put a big flamboyant bow on. Do that at the bottom. And I just love that. It's so pretty, so easy, and you can adapt it to anything. You can put just a plain paper and then put a picture here of somebody you love, or you could put a scenery picture in. You could put just a pretty pattern that appeals to you. Whatever you want to, and a few little embellishments, and you're done. Told you it was easy. This time I'm going to use this absolutely stunning piece of paper. I'm going to keep it level with the top, but I don't want all of this here because I want the word greenhouse to be a bit more central. It could do with measuring, really. You know me, I never measure. Trim it off. And then in theory, maybe a bit low. No, we're okay. And that, I think, is looking lovely already, but I just want to add a little something to it. So I thought if we could use some really light coloured bits of florals and moss and keep the theme running of something very, almost ethereal. So I'm going to glue in these bits of moss first in the top corner. We could go that corner. I always tend to go for that corner. What if we live life on the edge and go for the other corner this time? I think we'll put those two pieces in and go up there. Why not? Live life on the edge. The rock and roll lifestyle of the crafter. And a little bit across there. And then I'm going to pop this flower into place. And there, before I add on a little bit more of this moss, because I want to know exactly where the flower is going to lie. And then I can pop that under there. Pop a smaller piece up in there too. Oh, I think we need a little bit up there. Just work on this as you're going along. Don't worry about getting it all exactly in the right place when you start. You can add to, you can take away if you want to, but it could make a bit of a mess, but you can definitely add to what your design is if you feel it needs it. Like that. Now that, I think, with all the bits on as well, look at this mess. Now I just think that is so simple and so classy. You can imagine paying a lot of money for something like that in one of these high-end shops. And if you wanted to, you could also add a little bit of moss down here to add a little bit more interest. But I think that's a little bit too diagonal. It's a little bit wacky for me. But I love that. But what about when I get bored with this? I've got another idea. For this quick and easy photo frame, I'm going to use our trusty backing board, which has got a lot of bits pulled off it at this point. And I've got some of this hessian. I'm going to cut off just enough to stick to the backing board. Take off any little bits of paper that are still showing because they will show through hessian. It depends on the quality. My hessian is very thin, so it does tend to show most things through it. So just give it a bit more of a clean up. Be careful because the hot glue will come through the hessian, so if you touch it too quickly after you put it on, you will burn your fingers. You don't need tons and tons, but make sure you do have enough, because otherwise when you start putting things on the top of this, you will end up that they will make the hessian sag, and we can't be doing with saggy hessian. Out with the scissors and trim it off. If you're into journaling, then these little bits can be quite useful for making little bits and pieces. So it's up to you if you hang on to them. Don't feel you have to though, because I know sometimes people think they have to hang on to every little bit and you end up, you can't move for bits. This would also actually make quite a nice shabby bow, wouldn't it? Oh, got a bit of a bulge there. Never mind, we'll push it down. Pretend we can't see that. I'll put it back in the frame. Ooh, it's a bit wonky. Now to decide which way you want to put it. This way is what they call portrait. And if you see somebody's portrait painted, it's usually on this shape. And if you see a landscape, it's usually running in this direction. And if you see the waves of the sea, then it's running a little bit like my hessian. Right, I've got these beautiful pink flowers. Now, I know I can pull them off because I pulled one off here and it didn't fall apart. Sometimes you pull a flower like this and it just falls apart in your hand. So I'm going to pull one off and then just squirt a little bit of hot glue up inside the hole just to make sure I don't have any problems. And do the same with another two. I've got this garland of lambs here, so I take some bits off this. That's probably more than enough. So now to decide on the layout of the roses. I picked 3 because things look better in odd numbers. 3, 5, 2, 4, that sort of thing doesn't look so nice. Which way are we going to go? Are we going to go portrait or landscape? I think landscape. So the first thing to do is glue your roses onto your backing board. Now you don't have to use hessian. You use whatever you've got. You can use some other fabric, you can use some paper, you can even paint your backing board, as long as you've got a background that you like. Oops, nearly stuck my scissors to my glue gun then. Pop that under there. Hold them in place just for a couple of seconds. Make sure they're nicely firmly fixed to that backboard, because these flowers, they're gorgeous, but they're a bit springy. So you think, oh, they're attached, and then they're not. Now we'll just add a little bit of foliage. This really is so simple, but so effective. I'm going to chop the ends off these because they're a bit long and you'll end up with big, chunky bits you're trying to hide under the flowers. If you get a particularly unruly leaf that won't behave itself, add some hot glue to the back and glue it in place, making sure it doesn't lie in flat. Give it a little bit of a natural look. And I think that is stunning. You can use any flowers you like. And can you imagine how much that would cost you in Pottery Barn or something like that for a picture that looked like that? So I think it is definitely worth doing this sort of thing with one of your frames. But one day, in 10, 20, 100 years' time, somebody's going to want to change this frame up. I've got one last idea to show you. This is another one of those quick and easy crafts that is so fast if you blink, you'll miss it. I got this sheet of clever tiles. I got these from the pound shop, so you can probably get them from dollar store, that sort of place. And apparently it said that, it said 2 in here. Now I thought they were 2 big square tiles, but no, these are actually 2 thin tiles. Oh well, you live and learn. So now I just need to measure the size of my backboard. Now, if you try doing it like that, you're never going to see what you're doing. So I'm going to put this over the front here, this way round. And I can see that that is going to be a perfect fit when I join this middle bit here. So now I need to decide which tiles are going to be on show. Do I want those 4 or those 4? I could even cut this in half where it's supposed to be in half. Turn that upside down. And then I could have these 4 or these 4. Now I prefer that. I think there's more going on. So I'm going to cut off these 4 tiles. I'm going to use the back side of this because it is the smoothest. I think that's pretty good. Oops, a little bit of hot glue there. Get it all off so it is nice and smooth. You can sand it down if you're very efficient. I'm not. So I'm going to cut off this strip of tiles. And as long as you haven't taken all the packaging off, you can keep them for another day. Chop up there. And have another look to see what we want to do. Peel your backing off. Carefully put them as central as you can. And it is very difficult to get them to stick in just the right place. And once they're stuck, there's no moving them. Especially if you're doing it on paper. I don't know about if you're doing it on tiles, but on paper, ooh, that would be so difficult. And then, here we go. I'm going to have to pull this nearer me to check I'm doing this right. They're a little bit wonky. Shh, don't tell anyone. Take off the outer surface. I've just realised how badly I've done that, so I am going to put strip of these down. And then we're going to pretend that everything is wonderful. Cut off the bit you don't need. Pop it in your frame. And there you've got yourself, well, you can either put it that way. I think that way looks better because you can see a little bit of those tiles there. And that will be lovely in a kitchen or a bathroom. And it looks like you've saved some special tiles that meant a lot to you. Perhaps you brought them back from Morocco or something, from a vacation or a holiday. Nobody'll ever know that they only cost you £1 from the pound shop. Look at that. So which one was your favourite? We've got number 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. Ooh, I'm not sure. I think I like the roses on the Hessian. What about you? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know which your favourite was and if you're going to try making any of these frame upcycles. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe because there are lots more videos coming out and Christmas in July won't be long and I'm really looking forward to that. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'll see you all next time, but until then, don't forget, happy crafting and have fun. Bye!